I'll keep one myself. Right, shall we make a start? Yeah, you know me, I'm John Hoyle. And today's a special day, so since midnight I've been getting 3p a minute. I'm 66, so that's it. So I market myself as the world's most unlikely artist, so me being an artist and actually painting something, people like it, and I've sold a few stuff, beyond comprehension for me. I still find it difficult to realise that I've done that. So a little bit of history. We'll go through the history of who I am, what's been my life up to now. So I was born in 1958 at Ogden. So everybody know Ogden? Yeah. Right at the top. Yeah, 5 miles north. So playing out in the woods around Ogden Reservoir and on the moors with my older brothers and friends like that. But at the time, we used to get chased off by the waterworks, man, because it wasn't open. It was only about 30 years ago that they started putting a path round. Yeah, primary school. So primary school, I was always told I was a scruffy writer. So to me, that transferred to I could not be an artist. I wasn't good enough to be an artist, although I'm sure I could, doing the primary school things of slapping paint on, which is actually pretty much what I do now. So every report was could do better. So people of our age, it was usually to encourage you to do better. But in my case, it's like I'm doing the best that I can. How can I do any better? And that's straight from psychology, being in therapy. So I left school at 16 and joined the Merchant Navy as an engineer officer. So I saw a lot of water. So when I joined, you were very little time in port, a lot of time at sea, going between ports. So there was a saying, I went to sea to see the sea, and what did I see? I saw the sea. So I saw a lot of water. So I'm still not an artist. So that's about 16 to 20 odd, still not an artist. So from about 20, had a house and 3 girls with my ex-wife. So from about 28 years old, part of a family garage business. So still not an artist, although you could say we were being creative because we did okay in that things. However, remember in 1988, so Halifax Rugby League won the Challenge Cup in 1987. Who remembers? Anybody remember that? No. So I went to Wembley, so I was a fan at the time, so I went to Wembley. Went the next year as well, so I think it was 1988, so I remember going around the National Gallery. Joined a bit of a tour, saying Caravaggio, Supper at Emmaus. Everybody know the painting? Yeah, it's him, yes. Yeah, great. But then after the tour, they just did a few other things. I remember going downstairs, sort of underneath in the basement, and one of Van Gogh's major sunflowers. I think he did about 11. There's sort of 8 of the yellow and brown series, and I think there's 5 left. I think two were lost early on, and 1 was destroyed in Tokyo in the Second World War. So I think there's about 5 well-known of those. And the energy, say from about 20 feet going down, so it was in a glass cage about 20, 30 feet away. It's like the energy from this painting, it was this artwork, something that somebody had created, I think put all their energy into it, was absolutely amazing. That strength of it. However, I'm still not an artist. So I'll move on to 2004. Janet started Friendly Dragon. Everybody knows Friendly Dragon? Who knows Friendly Dragon? Yeah, some of us do. But became a new age spiritual shop fairly soon afterwards. So Janet did it to do her artwork, sell a few dragons because it's a bit Welsh. Incense and candles, a bit like the shops in Cornwall, so I was like going on holiday to Cornwall. So Janet's doing her artwork, and I'm still not an artist. I joined her a year after that, 2005, full-time, but I remember I was involved right at the beginning. So about 25 years ago, no, probably a bit less, so we're going 21, 22 years ago, started as a client in therapy, privately. Absolutely fantastic. So I've been in therapy, say, about 3 to 6 months. And most therapists understand art and they have art around the room. So Janet were doing bits of painting, so I did a big painting, which was just about that big, just 3 colours, yellow, orange, purple, and 3 moons on it, called Moonrise. Took it to my therapist, and we talked about like a bit of art therapy, what does it mean? We went through all like this sort of things. So I was going to take it, and he says, I'll leave it, because it was a group session the day after. He said, leave it with me, and I'll see what the other clients think. So I went back the next day and in the group, and everybody else looked at it, and he said, I've had 6 clients look at this, and 5 of them thought, oh, is that professional artist you were telling us about who was coming to do that you were getting a painting of? So they all loved it, apart from one who hated it so much you had to take it down and turn it around. So about 20 years ago, I remember coming here in the Crossley Gallery about probably 40 years ago in my 20s, occasionally. I'd probably forgotten about it really for 15, 20 years. So then I'd say about 20 years ago, so I've rediscovered it and started coming along. And then 15 years ago, in the Peace Hall, and it must be at least, it's probably a little bit more, 15 years ago, Alice had an exhibition, and it was fucking weird. Really strange, and I love that. Not just her artwork, and I did a homage to it as well. And I remember this, so there was 6 twigs? I don't know, 6 twigs, broken, mended with sellotape, and, just remember it very, very clearly. But then it was only about 4 or 5 years ago, I did a homage to it and did a little talk. I don't know whether it was here or where we were before. What was the meaning of it? And she said, mending something without purpose. That just blew my mind. It's just like life. There is no purpose to life at all. Yeah, 16, yeah. Perhaps getting a little bit closer to being an artist or to understand art in a different way. So 10 years ago, Janet's daughter, who had the clothes shop with us, moved out of the Peace Hall. And when the Peace Hall closed, we moved above her and had just a room and a shop above. But they did some shop fitting where they used stone tiles, quite thick stone tiles. They were actually floor tiles. And we always had a bit of acrylic paint about. And I think I've still got it downstairs. So a bit of stone tile about this big, in a shape like that. I just put a bit of paint and I thought, oh, I like this. So I got some more tiles and broken tiles and sort of did that and used small offcuts and a bit of acrylic paint, just putting it on the stone tiles for a start. So getting closer to being an artist or a creative. So perhaps over the last 10 years, very slowly accelerating to do more art, up and down. You did a little bit, didn't do any, doing a little bit, didn't do any. So then about 5 years ago, started attending Art Lab. So would it be about 5 years ago? And the speakers here, and in that time coming around and looking at the Crossley Gallery and being inspired by what's up in the corridors. So the different styles, techniques, and especially process has been absolutely astonishing. I didn't think people could think that far out. And I remember somebody talking about in a little spiritual group that there's you on your middle way, on your path, but you'll hear somebody talk about this strange thing that you've never understood before. So you'll go that way a little bit. Then you'll hear somebody talk about something over here. So you'll move that way. So you just keep zigzagging. Just pull you a little bit that way and you'll bring that into your practice a little bit. So over the past perhaps 4 or 5 years, I've been buying a lot of books. But not just, I like the idea of art history, but also, more important, is how to think like an artist. So, anybody remember Will Gompertz, who was a BBC? And his book, it's only a little book, How to Think Like an Artist. And that was a really, really good way of just changing who I am to be an artist. I've bought lots of books. I've got one today, not The Joy of Sex, The Joy of Art. The Joy of Art, if anybody knows the book. Anybody know the book? I think it's David Piper. Anyway, I don't know. So then about 2 years ago, Alice managed to get the Crossley Gallery for about 8 weeks, an 8-week stint. Would that be 2 years? Two and a bit? 2.5 years? 2022. Yeah. And I remember coming here, say, over the last 20 years, looking at all, and I know a lot of these artworks that I've seen roundabout over the last 20 years, and absolutely amazing. And I love that one in the corner, the landscape, because I like landscape. Is it Tom Wood? I think, a friend on Facebook, I know the people who know him. I think that's pretty fantastic. So, oh, look at all these, you know, I'll never have anything here, I'll never have anything here. And then, of course, fucking hell. So that, I've brought that in, and I've put it there, because I remember it being about there, somewhere there. So, yeah, so I was working with another lady, so Alice put us into pairs. So I'll talk about this one. So we did really shamanic journeying. So this was a shamanic journey, like an unexpected shamanic journey. Very, very profound. Perhaps I was just resting. So I was transported to northwest coastal USA, Canada area. So I was a bear coming out of a shallow river, climbed up a lightning tree, became a man, naked, which is right in true shamanic journeying. Climbed to the top, became an eagle, flying down, become a salmon, eaten by the bear. So it becomes air, earth, fire, water in the circle of life. So that's just up in it. Put it on a Greek vase for some strange reason, but hey, it don't matter. So the Salish are a tribe in and the Salish Sea in Seattle, Vancouver area. Alex is going next later this year. It's a bit. Can you put it in your suitcase? Yeah, let's put it in your suitcase. Who's going to take it? So we're very proud to have that. You know, achieving things. So in my therapy, I think it took a few sessions of that idea to accept that I could be an artist, that I could put something on, paint on canvas, or sculpture, found sculpture, whatever. People will like it. Perhaps not like Alice. I like to sell mine. I'm a bit more egotistical about it. And I remember selling my first painting about 4 or 5 years ago to a friend, and it went to just a little postcard of Glastonbury tour, and that went to Holland. Yeah, I am an artist. Yeah, therapy is great. Being able to say that was really difficult. It's a bit easier now, and I still struggle with it a little bit. So let's get up to, I've nearly finished. So we'll talk about the last year. So the idea was, I was just doing sort of random things. These, I'll pass a few of those around. Pennine postcards. So this is perhaps if I'm a scruffy writer or a scruffy person, I'll do scruffy artwork. Fuck it. Yeah, there you go. So these are the sort of things. Just get some paint, random paint, and just going for it. So those things I've been doing, as well as a few other things that are slightly different. So what year are we in? 2024, beginning of 2023. I've never done this before. So just reading books and a lot of YouTube, working in series. So because we study spirituality, we study numerology, and 9/11. Oh, 9/11. Who knows those numbers? And numbers that resonate throughout spiritual traditions very deeply. And there's lots of books and information out there. So I thought, right, I'll work on 9 and 11. So 9 in a series and 2 slightly different. But in the same series, but just sort of a little bit different. So I was going to do 3. I only managed to get 2 done over the year. So this is one from what I call my WETB series. If you wonder what that means, it means wrong end of the brush. And this is something I've been doing for a few years, but not in a series and not as one. So this is about 50 coats with the wrong end of a small brush, dipped in paint and pulled along. So I did red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, black and silver. So this is the indigo one. I've sold 2 out of the series before Christmas. So I'll say the red one. If you start with red, so paint a red board. So then you go red, orange, just drag a bit of paint across. And then red again, and then red, orange, yellow, red, green, red, blue, red. So it gives, although all the colours are in there, it has a hue of red. If they're all stood together, you could say that's red, orange, yellow, green, blue. So I just brought the indigo one, so it has a nice texture to it, you know. Ooh. People say, well, what happens if you chip a bit off? It becomes a new painting. Yeah, don't worry about it. So each one's about 50 layers, and each one probably first one's only take a minute or two, but by the time we're working on the whole surface, it take about 40 minutes a coat, and there's about 50 layers on there. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, black and silver. So that's 9. So another 2. So I'll just pop this here. So there's another 2. So to finish, I did that one, which very organic. You're just doing buff titanium and titanium white, and the reason I did that was, unfortunately, our friends out here from Calder Graphics in Huddersfield, Michelle said, titanium white is buff titanium that's been bleached, so it's basically the same colour. So why the fuck now? You know, just do it. Right, okay. So then, what can I do as number 11? Is it number 11? Oh, sorry, it's upside down, is that? That's upside down. Yeah, goes that way. No, it don't matter, does it? So it's 15 layers of black, just pulling 15 layers of black across it with the wrong end of the brush, dip it in, 15 layers. I'll talk about the white one in a minute while I talk about my other series. I'm getting going, I'm getting warmed up now, you can tell, can't you? Yeah, because these are the more recent things. I'll just finish up with. So my tower series, what's simple? A lot of artists talk about simplifying things. What's the simplest thing you can do? 3 basic shapes, 3 basic colours in different ways. So each one's painted, so it's just a pencil line and a ruler and a compass. So I spend a little bit of time putting the things in, the shapes in a certain way. So obviously start with that, tower series. And then the smallest brush, well, I thought a number 10 was the smallest brush. Then after doing a 2 or 3, you can get 20 and 30. You can even get a 50, I think. So I think I've worked mostly with 10s and 30s, but even so, cut them down finer and finer and finer. So I've worked with, I didn't realise it was Janet's vitamin D lamp. So, you know, super bright light from here. Magnifying glass. You know, from an artist magnifying glass like that, and just keeping at it. So each one's about 40 hours, getting it sharper and sharper and sharper till you say, right, that's done. Although they're not exactly. So that's number 1. Just put them down here. That's number 1. That's number 2. Well, from there I could have gone. So once I'd done the first one, I got a piece of board, the same size, just painted it, some black gesso on it. Cut out 3 shapes very quickly, painted them, and manoeuvred them around to get where I wanted to. So somebody said, well, you could have just carried that on and just done 9 or 11 falling over, but I thought, no, I don't want to do that. So that became get the idea. So work it around, what do I want to do? That's number 3. That's number 4. I'll put them in order, make it easy. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's tower deconstructed because it doesn't follow any geometric form. I'll just throw them on, just move them about a bit. Yeah, that'll do. And just went for it, and it still takes 40 hours. So that's number 9. So what happened after that? Oh yes, I know. I like that. I like where this is going now. So that's number 10. They've all dropped to the bottom. That were a bastard to do with that. That were really difficult because they're overlapping. Just to work with that probably took more than any other. So that's number, what do we say that was? Number 10. Oh, number 11 must be behind here. You know what's going on, don't you? So Tower 11, what's Tower 11 going to be then? You can guess, can't you? There you are, it's Tower 11. So I've written on that, no tower at all. So does the absence of the thing inform us of the thing itself? Possibly loss and grief. So what's absence of something? So that's strange. That number 11's black, isn't it? That one's black. So who knows the story of the Great Wave by Hokusai and what it's from? So it's nothing to do with the wave, it's 36 views of Mount Fuji. Okay. Well, he didn't stop at 36. I think he was asked to do 36, commissioned to do 36 once. But he didn't, he did 44. He carried on, he said, I enjoy it so much, I'm going to do some more. So he did 44 or 46. So after that, I did number 12. So if they're 40 hours, that's about 2 hours. So it's still drawn with a ruler and a thing, but that's just like 2 hours just trying to get it right with a bigger brush. So instead of getting neater and neater, so that's about 30 minutes. That's just gone for it with no drawing at all. So just been more and more, do it quicker. So then you can get the idea of what those are like. You know, the sharpness of those. That's about 40 hours and that's about 30 minutes. But then I was going to do landscapes. I thought I'll do 9 and 11 landscapes. Oh, just going back to these, why is there a white one? Well, same reason, if that's number 11, is that number 12? I think that's 15 coats of white. Somebody said it's like wood chip or Artexing or something. But don't matter, does it? Yeah, that's that. I've done a black one, I might as well do a white one. Unfortunately. So that took me most of the year. So does anybody know the difference between an amateur and a professional? What's the difference?
Doesn't amateur mean for the love of it?
Absolutely, yes. So an amateur does it for the love of painting. So it doesn't matter, you know, they're not bothered about it. So although I'm not a professional, I'd rather call myself a semi-professional because it sounds very different. Am I doing it for the love of it? Yeah, for some of it. Do I want to have a bit of ecodism with it? Yeah, let's get on with it. I know, yeah, someday to buy it. So just to finish, so these are my psychotherapy. You can pass those around. These are some of my psychotherapy badges, but based on my artwork. They're nice little giveaways. But going back to landscape, I've lived at Ogden, South Aureham and Barkisland for the last nearly 30 years, so I've always lived on the moors. So they've probably been, well, I'm spoiling the question now, aren't I? So fridge magnets as well. So just on little fridge magnets. Great, people love them. They even pick them up without, I don't have to sell them sometimes. So the fridge magnets, Pennine postcards, you know, people look at them and want to buy them sometimes. So I'm struggling with, these are A1 board. So the reason A1 board is we don't have a lot of room. So they're small enough to carry about, but big enough to get a good image. But I'm struggling with the landscapes on that. So 16 by 16, 20 by 16, yeah, quite easy. Let's get some paint on there, flow it around and get some idea. I'll get to it, you know, I'm working on it. But then just struggling at the moment to upscale it, to get at the image that I want or the feel that I want from. I use fucking get a big brush.
Upscale the size of your brushes.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I've got. Yeah. Well, there's one that I have done, which just used a big Harris brush about that big and just went for it. It's just not giving it.
You're using a brush there that's presumably giving you this width. It presumably is that width. Proportional.
Yeah, I have.
If you're going to that scale, you're going to need a 3-inch brush.
Yeah.
To keep the same proportion.
Yeah. I haven't got my phone on, but the one that I did, it didn't give me the image really that I wanted.
I think it's harder with a bigger brush to make a mark that is subtle. You know, it's not so easy to manipulate the quality of mark that you want to make.
You might have guessed I'm not that subtle. You know, it's just.
There's a kind of control that a bigger brush doesn't allow you to have. That's what I'm trying to say. That just needs practice.
Both, yeah. I know some artists, you know, read up, watch YouTube. I think the idea is, at the moment, I don't like to call it bad art, but perhaps not the art that I want, in the hope that once I've done the art that hasn't come out right, and this happened to me once, I'm doing art that doesn't come out right. If I do enough of that and work at it, then once I've experienced that and worked away from that, I'll be doing the thing that I want to. I understand that
We
through
all do
therapy.
things that don't come out right from
Time to time, yeah, all the fucking time, yeah,
Well,
all the time.
You know, that's life.
Yeah, and learning to quite to be happy with that,
Early
stuff.
training, I think I probably wrote off something like 70%.
Yeah.
I think it's the idea that the artist goes in and produces this wonderful work, and it's all going to be happy and tickety-boo, is just nonsense. I mean, I talking to Roger on the way in, I've been working on a self-portrait for 18 months, and this Sunday I went in and started to rework it again, not having waited until it had dried, got myself into a 2 and 8, made a complete balls of it, and I've had to put it to one side till it dries, and it just happens. And it's, I mean, advice to my younger self, don't do it. It's stupid.
If you're satisfied with that, you're not moving anywhere.
Shall we go through the question? Go on, number one. Who's got number one question?
Oh, right. Oh, I see the number.
Yeah.